There's now rumors going around that Sony Pictures is reportedly beginning casting for the live-action version of Miles Morales, and who's going to play Miles Morales in a Spider-Man live-action film, according to the Insider, Jeff Snyder, who is a very popular scooper in Hollywood, and he's usually pretty dang accurate, too. Now, the speculation is, could he be joining the MCU in Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland and then kind of meeting Tom Holland? And the rumor is Tom Holland has signed a 6-picture deal to continue as Spider-Man, Peter Parker, 3 more solo films, and like a couple Avengers films, and maybe like a television series will pop up in maybe. If that's the case, you bring in Miles Morales now, and you can kind of let him meet Peter Parker, and then kind of become friends with him. And then by the end of Tom Holland's run, he's trained him enough, and he's ready to take over the mantle whenever they decide to move on from Tom Holland. Maybe his character dies or retires with MJ or whatever it might be. If they can ever remember who he is after Spider-Man No Way Home. I'll have to wait and see on that one. But I don't know who I would necessarily, get to possibly play it. I mean, this particular post had some actors. I don't know any of these young guys here. Miles Brown, Alex R. Hibbert, Cedric Joe, and Asante Black. I've never heard of these young gentlemen here, but at the same time, these may be some potential casting that Sony is looking at. We'll have to wait and see. But there's also
that's nice though, fresh faces.
Exactly, fresh faces. Get them young. They could grow into the role a little bit, just like Tom Holland did as well. So at the same time, I'd love to see Spider-Man kind of dive into like your Black Cats and your Silver Sables and some of these other Spider heroes and stuff, which maybe we'll get into Sony stuff. Which also brings up the question: is could possibly they be casting Miles Morales to be the Spider-Man not in the MCU, but in the Venomverse that they've got going on? I mean, I would prefer it to be the MCU personally because they're better writing over there.
Yeah. All I'm going to say on this matter is please do this.
Yeah, Jackson would lose.
Oh, don't worry. Please, regardless of whether they're casting now or not
for Spider-Man.
Yeah, whether they're casting now or not, Miles Morales in live action is absolutely going to happen. There's no doubt about
Jackson would lose it.
It's a matter of
when.
He
should.
Yeah, it's a matter of when, not if. At this point, in my opinion.
Yeah,
to see a live action Miles Morales movie, like Jackson loves Spider-Man, right? But not Peter Parker. And it's not that he wasn't exposed to Peter Parker at first, he was, but it was something about Miles' character that Jackson just gravitated towards, and his favorite superhero is Spider-Man, but in that regard, it's the Miles Morales version of Spider-Man. But he loves Peter Parker too, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
it's just for him it's A and then B. Does that make sense? You know what
I mean?
Right.
It depends on how that Venom movie will end.
That's very possible.
But I like the direction that Eric is thinking. That Sony certainly could do that.
Well, and Sony's had their missteps too, right? Yeah. Madam Web that totally tanked. Morbius was a disaster. They've got Kraven the Hunter coming out at the end of this year, which I'm very nervous about. They were going to make him like an animal rights activist, the last I heard. If that's
a good way to start, but at the same time, Kraven the Hunter literally hunted endangered animals because it was all about the hunt for him. It was about the more dangerous it was, the more, you know what I mean? The more thrill it was. Like, that's why he switched to hunting the most dangerous prey there is.
Well, they've already said that the Venom: The Last Dance that's coming out this October is the last Venom movie for Tom Hardy. Now, does that necessarily mean he won't pop up in the MCU? Maybe some of this multiverse stuff that they're doing in Secret Wars? Very possible. But if that's the case, if that's the final Venom movie that Hardy's going to be in, the Sony universe may very well should just end there, because these other projects they're doing is not doing very well at the box office at all. Just give the rights back to Marvel, in my opinion. Let Marvel handle Spider-Man, because they're the ones who've been doing it correctly with Tom Holland and the MCU, in my opinion.
I don't think Sony has a future with those movies.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Sony's done some great Spider-Man stuff. The animated Miles Morales stuff has been absolutely outstanding. Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire was great. You know, there's this, and that original series with Tobey Maguire was good until that third film, which they tried to shoehorn too much into it, like Venom. So they've done some good stuff, but they've also done some very bad things, like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans didn't really hit very well either. That's why that Tom Holland ended up in the MCU to begin with, because Andrew Garfield's second film failed. So, I mean, it's a kind of an up and down situation with Sony. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes, but
Miles Morales movie would be very good.
Oh,
I would enjoy seeing that. You know, it'd be something different.
oh, it's going to happen eventually. It just
When it does, it will hit. That kind of stuff will hit.
Man,
Oh, yeah,
and
guaranteed.
some of the villains you could use in Miles is that's gonna be dope.
Scorpion.
Well, you gotta understand this too. They've already teased Miles Morales in the MCU once.
Yeah.
During Spider-Man: Homecoming, Peter Parker interrogates what's his Aaron
Davis.
Aaron Davis, thank you. Which is Miles Morales' uncle that if you've seen the animated Into the Spider-Verse movies, that becomes the Prowler.
Yeah,
and he says, "My nephew lives around here." So they've already said Miles is basically in the MCU already. We just don't know how old he is.
They don't know how old he is.
Exactly. So we've already got that connection that's already been kind of got that seed planted already. So and it was funny too when Donald Glover made that appearance in Across the Spider-Verse as a live action Prowler. So I thought that was cool too. So yeah, they had captured him out of the MCU in that Spider-Verse movie. So yeah, it's got a lot of interweaving parts here for sure. And Sony is trying to kind of mirror the MCU when it comes to the multiverse stuff. So could it play into everything together at some point with all this stuff going on? Absolutely could. So maybe multiverse in the Secret Wars for sure. All that could definitely take place. Thank you for checking out this clip from the Dragon's Den podcast. If you like what you saw here, please consider checking out our live podcast almost every single Friday night here on the channel at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And until our next video, guys, take care and God bless.